If someone were to ask you, which group of people, generally speaking, is healthier, soldiers or doctors? What would you say? Now, many would have to probably pause for a minute and think, well, doctors know a whole lot about the human body and what's good for you and what's not good for you and what's good to eat and what's not good to eat. And soldiers, well, they can be a little bit irresponsible. They're young. They're pretty much walking contradictions. Having been one, I can attest to this. They take part in just about every vice there is. Yet, by any standard, independent standard of measurement, by far and away, soldiers are much healthier than doctors. Now, how can you say that? How can you make such a crazy allegation? Well, this is one of those things that goes to false cause, one of those logic fallacies, or it's also referred to as correlation causation. You see, they judge health by a lot of different things. Soldiers are younger, and younger people are healthier in general, especially soldiers, because they're running and working out and training all the time. Cardiovascularly, they're a lot healthier. And also because they're younger, they don't suffer from all the things that doctors would. Doctors, takes a long time to be a doctor. You got to go through medical school and then practice and all this. And these are just older people. I pull out 10 random soldiers and 10 random doctors, and you put them through a PT test or you put them through any kind of a physical, I guarantee the 10 soldiers are going to come out way ahead of the game in just about every possible category, even if they are smokers, even if they are drinkers. There's no 40-year-old doctor going to do a 2-mile run in the same time as a 22-year-old soldier. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to have the recovery time. Now, that's kind of one of those contradictions. So some could say, so smoking makes you healthier. Drinking makes you healthier. Partaking in all of the vices that soldiers do, that makes you healthier. That would, of course, be false, wouldn't it? And then conversely, you could say that, well, being a doctor causes a decline in health. Being a doctor causes you to be worse off physically. That's not true either, simply based on comparing them to soldiers. This is one of the most abused fallacies out there. Real or perceived relationships between things, meaning one is the cause of the other. It's not. We see this all the time. People will go outside and they'll have some type of a physical malady, some type of a chronic one, coughing or wheezing, or they smell something in the air. Forget the coal factory that's 50 miles upwind of them. That has nothing to do with it. They look up 7 or 8 miles in the air and they see a little wisp of white smoke from behind a plane, and they blame that. It's not the 5,000 or 10,000 cars belching smoke and poison out into the local environment every day. It's not the coal-fired power plant that they can't see. It's that little bitty jet way, way, way up there in the Gulf Stream with that little tiny white wisp of smoke. You see, that's the problem. Correlation does not imply causation. Correlation does not imply causation. Smoking has been one of these things that has been generational in the military. Yet so has this. So how can the two live side by side? How can such a terrible thing to do to your lungs live right alongside guys that go out on a regular basis and conduct PT, physical training? How can those two things exist? You would think one would preclude the other. One bad habit would cancel out the other good habit, but it doesn't. You can, and I'm sure a lot of my military guys will attest to this, You have a weekend of hard partying and smoking and drinking and all this kind of stuff, and you've got to show up for a 5 a.m. formation for PT. And the guys in the back of the formation can literally get almost a contact high from the smell of the sweat coming off the guys in front of them because it smells like what they drank and smoked the night before. It stinks like crazy. It's horrible. You never want to be the guy at the back of the formation, especially after guys have been out partying and drinking. But yet, when you look at guys that are in the military and you look at their standards for what they call BMI, body mass index, especially infantry guys, they pass it with flying colors, with no problems. That doesn't mean the smoking is good for you. It doesn't mean the vice lifestyle is good for you. Yet they live it, but it's a strange paradox. Sometimes you have to look a little bit deeper. Now, I know that was a 6-minute explanation to cover 2 articles, but this is the first one. Why is New Orleans coronavirus death rate twice New York's? Obesity is a factor. Now, this is the media falling for correlation causation. They're taking obesity data and they're taking coronavirus data and they're putting the two things together and they're saying that one is a comorbidity or causative effect of the other. Far more people died in New York, and New Yorkers are not necessarily on par, on average, as obese as Southerners are, because a lot of them walk. Why did more of them die? Now, they say the death rate is twice New York's, but they're comparing apples to oranges. They're comparing two things they want to be alike that just cannot possibly be compared. How it spread in New York, when it spread in New York, versus New Orleans. Now, right alongside with this, doctors are testing whether estrogen could help men fight, COVID-19. One of the statistics they don't like to talk about is that men die at 3 times the rate of women of this. And that's something they can't understand. So what are they trying to do? Let's just turn men into women. Let's just turn men into women. I've talked about this thing with bioethicists before. This is just more confirmation of something we have seen going on for a while. There is a certain attitude, a certain way of living. I don't know what the proper word here is for it. I don't think that they want a society of only women, but they want a society of women and effeminate males, beta types, because I think they see anger and aggression and, sorry about that, and all the things that are classically masculine to go away or be gotten rid of because, in their opinion, they believe it to be some type of a problem, that there's no good use for it, that men like that are only good for war, and we're going to get rid of all of war because we're going to fix all the world's problems with medicine and sorcery and all this kind of stuff. This is false cause. This is causation correlation fallacy. And they're hoping and banking on the American people not understanding the mental trick they're using. If women have 3 times the survival rate of men, or the opposite, men are 3 times more likely to die of it, simply based on the statistics out of New York, and obese people somehow have a more prevalent, more chance of dying of it, what should we do? Well, I guess the entire world should just be skinny women or skinny effeminate males. Skinny effeminate males. Anderson Cooper. Skinny effeminate males. Anderson Cooper. Ring a bell? See what they're doing here? This is the game. This is what they are trying to do. And people love to, and it even happened today again. I put up a couple of pictures of one particular woman that was a little bit alluring. And boy, I tell you what, the censors came down hard. Because that's something an alpha male would enjoy seeing. Alpha males enjoy going out and doing things that soldiers do. And getting dirty. And acting like men. And looking at pretty women. You see, that's a problem for them. We are a problem for them. And they're hoping no one sees it. These bioethicists. And if I could do anything with this channel, I'm going to call them out every chance I get. Because there's a day coming when people are going to realize it, but it's too late. And I guess I'll just leave that there. Like, share, subscribe.